Mine is. Do you want to use this one?
You want to listen to the talk?
Okay, can everybody mute online, please?
Chisho, Robin, Barney, Sarah.
Dinah! Robin! Julie, Sarah, Mark, Marty, everybody, hey. Oh, hi, look at, he came back after, yeah. That's our friend that came at Rikas for Rikas' ceremony.
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back, good to see everybody. Okay. Good morning, everybody, again. Not needing an introduction, but definitely getting one this morning, is Kelly Junmei Good, Reverend Kelly Junmei Good. And Kelly is, we are recording, yes. So Kelly is a longtime member of ZLMC, and as many of us know, a very passionate and dedicated Sangha member to Sunday Morning Zen, to the circles. Kelly is, as I said, a reverend, has been Shuso, mindfulness and meditation teacher, and has served as both the president and vice president of the board at ZLMC. So just so much gratitude for everything that Kelly continues to do for the Sangha. She is also a middle school teacher here in Oak Park, teaching science. And Kelly's talk today is entitled Practice. Let's welcome Kelly for this.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me, Robin, Julie, everyone online? You hear me good? Okay, great. Thank you all for being here. I know out of the myriad things you could be doing this morning, you're here doing this, supporting my practice, supporting one another's practice, practicing being Sangha. So I hope you'll indulge me for a moment. Can I please take a picture so I can have this moment for me of all of these wonderful faces that come to Sunday Morning Zen and enrich my practice. So if you don't mind, everybody smile for just a second. I think I got it. Smile online, thank you. Okay, now that I've done that, I want to say what a real treasure Sangha is, for a number of reasons, but in particular because of the refuge I feel like we hold for one another in this space. Here, Sunday Morning Zen, under the Roshis, in this center is where I've really learned to feel what refuge really is. Then I can go out and identify it, know it when I see it, and then learn to find that in myself. So I appreciate you walking through with me. I'm going to talk a little bit about my practice, digesting a lot of different teachings, and we have such wonderful teachings here. Wow. It gives me a lot to chew on a given week. This is how I've been digesting this in my own life. I'm going to share some of that with you. I'm going to break it up into 4 little parts, and then in which, okay, let's see. So, okay, so when we sit or when we move through our daily life, there's often this subtle split that we don't notice at first. We talk about this in our Mindfulness for Everyone course. There is what is happening, and then there's this sense that there's someone watching what is happening, and that observer, that ego of ours, can feel really real, like there's a me standing just outside of my experience, evaluating it, managing it, trying to get it right. In that space, something familiar tends to arise, this self-consciousness, evaluation, comparison, thoughts like, how am I doing? Do I do this as well as so-and-so? How am I being seen? Am I being reflective enough? Am I getting this right? even in practice, these thoughts show up, maybe especially in practice. But over time, I've started to notice that this split creates a kind of tension. Part of me is living, and part of me is monitoring the living, and that monitoring layer often brings back this judgment, this hesitation, or subtle holding back. So what I've come to understand, at least in glimpses, is that in Zen, there really is no outside this moment. Nothing stands apart from it, not even the one who thinks they are observing it. The observer is actually part of our moment too, and it's not separate. Many of us have heard the profound Zen pointer we get from time to time, that to forget the self is to be actualized by the 10,000 things. So when I'm hearing that, I don't hear something abstract, I hear something very immediate. When the sense of a separate observer drops away, even briefly, what's left is just this moment living itself. Experience isn't being watched from the outside, it's unfolding then, and we are part of that unfolding. And when that's seen directly, even briefly, there is actually a kind of relief for me. Because there's nowhere else to stand, it's just this. What becomes possible then isn't control, it isn't self-improvement, it isn't performance or practicing well. It's something much more simpler and much more immediate. A kind of presence that responds without a sense of separation, which I normally can sense or feel rising up as performance. So in my daily life, especially teaching middle school, this opportunity shows up frequently for me. Teaching is basically kind of like, it's a great sandbox for me. It's actually kind of basically a stream of micro decisions. Do I call on this student or that one? Do I redirect this behavior or let it go? Do I push for deeper understanding or support where they're at right now? Do I move to the next lesson? Should I review it again? There's no pause button really for me to step out, take a reflective moment, analyze, and come back with like a more polished response, a more right response, if you will. And I noticed that when I get caught in that observer mode, I hesitate then, I overthink, I lose connection with what's actually happening in front of me, and most often that's with who is in front of me. It's relational. So I'm gonna try to break down for you the way I've been practicing. Over time, I've found a simple way for me to orient myself in these moments. And this is how I frame it. I hope it makes sense to you, otherwise this talk is a wash. So I do clear eyes, full heart, this moment, meet it. So it's simple enough that I can actually remember it in the middle of things. And the more I've worked with it, the more I've come to see that it maps onto what I think of as the real arc of the Zen practice. Not just as an idea, but like something lived. So it's mindfulness, it's compassion, it's presence, and it's response. So clear eyes is the mindfulness, the full heart, the compassion. This moment is the presence, recognizing reality as it is. And then meet is the response, how I act or choose to act within it. So I'm going to move through each of these, and then I'll share a poem. Oh my gosh, Margaret Wheatley, just such an amazing poet, actually had a beautiful response, I think, or addition to each of these that I'm trying to put together. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to share it, not to just over-explain, but hopefully to land it in a different way. Kind of to move beyond the words in silence and into something a little deeper. Okay, so clear eyes. This is mindfulness in a very direct, almost particular sense. Seeing what is actually happening without adding a layer of interpretation too quickly. One of the things I've noticed in myself is how fast the mind creates stories, even when I'm aware of it, even when I'm aware to look for it, right? Something happens and almost immediately there's a meaning attached to it, and this mind fills in the gaps, often without us even realizing it. So in the classroom, for example, I'll look at a student who's looking into their computer, just sitting there at the desk looking at the computer, and I can say, oh, they're disengaged. And that story is the place then, and my response shapes it. But if I come back to clear eyes, I might just notice they haven't looked up in 3 minutes. That's it. No conclusion yet. That's a very different response that comes from that, what I call clear eyes, right? And from that place, more possibilities open up then. I'm not locked into interpretation, and it gives me more freedom in how I respond. And this is where interdependence starts to show itself. Nothing I'm seeing stands alone. Everything arises together in those conditions. That student's behavior, for instance, is not separate from their sleep last night, their home life, what happened to them earlier in the day, the energy of the classroom they're stepping into, even my own tone as a teacher. Everything is influenced by everything else. So when we point to that saying that actualized by the 10,000 things, we aren't really standing outside the world and observing it. We are part of that same field of conditions as everything else. So clear eyes don't just see things, they begin to see relationships, context, conditions, because that's all part of it. In Zen and in Taoist traditions, the clarity is connected to emptiness, really, right? Not emptiness is nothingness, but emptiness is not being full of assumptions. When the mind isn't crowded with fixed ideas, there's a space to see how things actually arise together and independently, interdependently. Okay, so clear eyes are empty in that way, where we don't rush to fill in the gaps. And when we're empty, when our eyes are empty, when we're empty, beautiful things can happen. So I'm going to read this poem by Margaret Wheatley, and it is called Read a True Professional. Of course, I didn't put the page number down, but I swear I know where it's at. Sorry. There's not that many choices. Let's see. And this book is really beautiful, and of course it doesn't have page numbers or table of contents.
That's your practice.
Oh, right. Man. All right, just, is it this one? Awkward. Oh, here it is. Okay, found it. Okay, the true professional. Illusion. Too much of our action is really reaction. This is true professional. So when I hear it in this, what I hear in this is a description of someone who has trained their attention to stay with what's real, steady, grounded, and not pulled off course by distraction or ego. Okay? You'll tell me in a minute. We can discuss in a second. Okay, illusion. Too much of our action is really reaction. Such doing does not flow from free and independent hearts, but depends on external provocations. Such doing does not flow, it depends on external provocation. It does not come from our sense of who we are and what we want to do, but from our anxious reading of how others define us. Our anxious reading of how others define us. And it actually goes one more time. Our anxious reading of how others define us and of what the world demands. When we react in this way, we do not act humanely. The true professional is one who does not obscure grace with illusions of technical prowess. The true professional is one who strips away all illusions to reveal a reliable truth. A reliable truth in which the human heart can rest. Can rest. Unveil the illusions that masquerade, the illusions that masquerade as reality, and reveal the reality behind the masks. Catch the magician deceiving us. Get a glimpse of the truth behind the trick. A glimpse. Contemplation happens anytime we get a glimpse of the truth. Okay, that's true seeing, or clear eyes. Any thoughts on that? Comments? Online, feel free to unmute yourself.
Could I ask you to read it again?
Yeah.
I really like the poem.
Yeah, and I just closed the book, so this is great practice.
That's right.
I got it, okay. Okay. Do we have time? I think we have time. Okay. Okay. Too much of our action is really reaction. Such doing does not flow from free and independent hearts, but depends on external provocation. Such doing does not flow, it depends on external provocation. It does not come from our sense of who we are and what we want to do, but from our anxious reading of how others define us, our anxious reading of how others define us, our anxious reading of how others define us, and of what the world demands. When we react in this way, we do not act humanely. The true professional is one who does not obscure grace with illusions of technical prowess. The true professional is one who strips away all illusions to reveal a reliable truth. A reliable truth in which the human heart can rest. Can rest. Unveil the illusions that masquerade the illusions that masquerade as reality, and reveal the reality behind the masks. Catch the magician deceiving us. Get a glimpse of the truth behind the trick. A glimpse. Contemplation happens anytime we get a glimpse of the truth. Okay, I'm gonna close it now.
What page was that on? You know, that time,
Yeah, you got it right there.
that second time, I really resonated with the line, give the heart a rest.
Right?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like the relief I feel like that comes from that clear seeing of, yeah, I resonate with that too.
Because when we don't, in those terrible moments, we don't breathe, and then we don't breathe, our heart clutches.
Right, right. Which brings me perfectly to full heart.
You're welcome.
A perfect segue. Okay, so then clear eyes. So when I hit that moment where it's like, oh, this is unexpected, or oh, this is a surprise, or oh, clear eyes, what am I really seeing? And then I have to say full heart. If clear eyes are about how we see, then full heart is about how compassion naturally flows from this clear seeing. In fact, I know that I'm not seeing clearly yet when compassion for myself and others are not in that current moment. That's a big red flag for me that I'm not there yet. In teaching, I can feel this as a genuine investment in my students. You know, I want them to learn. I want them to feel supported, to grow. That caring matters. It's part of the relationship. But I've also seen how easily caring can become controlling, you know, the gripping. When I become attached to a specific outcome, they should know this by the end of the year, they should have this unit down, I can tighten. Even something positive like growth can be pushing when I try to shape things out of what I think they should be, and that tightening does change the relationship. The students can feel it. I can feel it. People do not grow, change, mature, especially middle schoolers, at my insistence or on my timeline. It's not my journey, and that can be difficult for me to remember when you have a full heart. A full heart is something different than pushing. It's caring deeply but without that committing or gripping for outcomes. It's compassion that stays open. It's more like that grandmotherly mind. We've heard that in Zen, that warm, patient, protective, attentive, and joyful. This type of mind not only holds others with patience rather than control, it expresses care through the ordinary concrete actions. Often notices what's needed before being asked, and doesn't separate the spiritual practice from daily life. And then our interdependence deepens this. If we are not separate from what we experience, then grandmotherly mind isn't something extra that we add. It's already built into the situation. So that line between me and other, me and student softens. The student in front of me isn't completely separate from me. They are part of the same moment that I'm a part of. And from that, then compassion becomes natural. Less something that I'm trying to generate, and more something that shows up when I'm paying attention. In Taoist terms, this may be referred to as holding things loosely, loose. When I hold too tightly, I create tension. When I hold loosely, there's space for others to really show up as they are, and for the situation to unfold as it should. A lot of time, the tightening comes from fear of not doing enough, fear of losing control, fear of things not going the way I want. So a full heart has a trust to it. Not that everything will go perfectly, but that I can stay present with what happens because we are all of the same Buddha nature. And that makes a real difference in a full heart. So Margaret writes about this, Miss Wheatley, and it's called It Is a Wondrous Thing, again with no page number. And it expresses a quiet appreciation for life as it is without trying to hold on to it. That's what I see. You'll tell me if it's different. It is a wondrous thing. Oh, not that one. Here it is. No. It is. Okay. It's a wondrous thing. Now I'll leave a sticker here so I know. It's a wondrous thing. It is a wondrous thing to know each other as humans being fully human. It is a wondrous thing to be able to restore sanity. It is a wondrous thing to awaken our human spirits. It is a wondrous thing to know all humans can be generous, creative, and kind. It is a wondrous thing to partner with life and spirit. It is a wondrous thing to experience uncertainty as inviting rather than frightening. It is a wondrous thing to create islands of sanity, places of possibility and refuge where the human spirit can thrive. Restoring sanity is joyful work. May we become intimate with this joy. Okay, so that's full heart. Comments, thoughts, questions? Yes. Do you want to take this one? I gotcha.
Having worked within educational systems, oh sure, having worked within educational systems, I wonder, I love your approach, and I wish I had known about it at various times. But there are external pressures on you. And part of the external pressures are making sure that the students in your care achieve these external goals. You know, I know you've got system-wide goals, you've got state goals, you've got even national goals, you've got district goals, you've got, you know, down to the school. So how do you interweave the two?
So I think the beauty of the human experience is how we have a tendency to complicate things. Right? No, but I mean, I feel like that's what large systems can inadvertently do that. We as humans, we have a tendency for that. And I find that coming back to which is a beautiful, you're also a great segue, coming back to this moment helps me quiet the noise maybe, or I know there's other directives, other things, other obligations, other wishes people have, but at the end of the day, my only space is this moment right now and what I'm doing here, and that's what I do with clear eyes and a full heart, right? So I'll talk more about that in just a second, but thank you, that was perfect. You guys are so great. You're tracking me. I'm so shocked. I didn't know this was going to make a lot of sense. Okay, so here we go. Ready? So this moment is the next. Clear eyes, full heart, this moment. Okay, so this is presence. This is the recognition of what is here right now. And what is here right now is already complete. I notice how often I treat the present moment as a stepping stone. I'm here, but I'm leaning into what's next, or replaying what just happened. And in doing that, I miss what's actually right here. When I really look, it's kind of remarkable. Out of everything that could be happening, I mean, how many things, how many possibilities? My math husband could tell you, like, a lot of possibilities. This right here is what is actually happening. So out of infinite scenarios and combinations of people, we are all right here sharing this moment, and that's a miracle. That really is just a miracle. In Zen, there's a teaching that the whole world is one bright pearl. This points to reality as a whole, undivided, nothing outside it, nothing missing. From a Taoist perspective, we might say the same thing by describing roundness. Say the world is round, to be round, and that is to be whole, without edges where we divide things and push things away. To let the moment be round is to allow everything that is here to belong. And at the same time, the moment is not fixed. We have heard this in talks by the Roshis before. I know we did a book study a long time ago on the dark side of the moon. We talk about firewood becomes ash and it does not become firewood again. Firewood is fully firewood when it appears, and ash is fully ash when it appears. So this each moment it speaks to is complete, and each moment changes. The sounds shift, our bodies shift, thoughts arise and pass, situations unfold and dissolve. So this moment is whole, and it's also moving. That's impermanence. Not as an abstract idea, but as something we can literally notice directly. And I find in teaching middle school that gives the moment a certain aliveness. It's not a pressure, but a kind of quiet urgency. This exact moment won't come again in the exact same way. So presence is not just being here, it's recognizing that it's here and it's already changing. Okay, so let me do this one. Margaret has, I think, one that speaks to this, opening to the world as it is. And it feels like an invitation into this, allowing the world to be what it is, even as it changes. Okay, and I'll read it. Look how fast I found it, I'm getting good. Okay, opening to the world as it is. Air fills with song of bird and breeze this day. cheerful comfort to hold my grief for the world just as it should be. This world speaks in unending, innumerable voices. I write poems to let the world know I'm paying attention. I write poems when words fail me, when I have no choice but to take the time and feel the care to find precise expression. I write poems when the world assaults me with its paradoxes. I write poems about the gifts I receive from presence. I trust my voice has purpose. When the world speaks to me so vividly, it would be sheer cowardice to refuse to give voice. Staying present is a responsibility I accept. Call and response. Questions, comments, thoughts? Okay. Oh, yep.
What's the little two-word part of this? It's clear seeing.
Clear eyes.
This moment.
This moment. Full heart. This moment.
This moment. I think this is the one that is really challenging.
Yeah.
For me. It's that ability to quiet the rest of everything that's going on in my head, that, like you called it, ego, that's kind of observing. And the way you're describing it makes it more, it's a fuller, richer description than just be present. So I just wanted to say I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So once we're fully in this round moment, we're going to meet it. So meet it. This is response. This is the last one. You're all hanging in there great. So if mindfulness is how we see, compassion is how we care, and presence is recognizing the completeness of reality, then response is then how we participate in it. And then you could say that the whole practice comes down to this. Meet it, an appropriate response. That's Zen. Not perfect, not rehearsed, but fitting because it arises from being fully in the moment. Zen emphasizes that practice is not separate from activity. Practice is expressed right in how we live, how we act, how we respond. And impermanence sharpens this. This moment is already unfolding and passing. This talk is almost over. There isn't an endless opportunity to respond later. So meet it also means to me, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Sometimes I'll also say in my mind as I do this in class and in my life, sometimes I'll also think of it, I'll say instead of meet it, I'll say go. This moment go. This moment choose. This moment respond. This moment flow. It's action without stepping outside the moment to overthink the narrative. So in my life, sometimes it looks like I'm just doing my role. I'm just being a teacher, I'm being a parent, I'm being a spouse, I'm being a family member. Sometimes it's guiding, it's making decisions. Other times it's much simpler, just like listening to a student going through something difficult or bearing witness to the difficulties of being parts of large organizations and countries and communities and all the things we witness. And what allows this kind of response is a softness, not a weakness, but flexibility. If I harden, I get stuck. If I stay soft, I can adjust to what's actually happening. This is action without self-consciousness, without tightening, and presence without performance. Okay, this is a good one. So now Margaret has this poem called Action, which I think does a way better job than I do, so I'm just going to read it. And now I have to find the page, sorry. This one is, oh, I know. Where'd it Okay, so this one is Meet It, right? This is my Meet It, and here is Margaret Wheatley's poem called Action. I need new glasses. Action, like a sacrament, is the visible form of an invisible spirit, an outward manifestation of an inward power. An expressive act is not to achieve a goal outside myself, but to express a conviction, a leading, a truth that is within me. An expressive act is not one taken, because if I did not take it, I would be denying my own insight, gift, nature. Action, like a sacrament, is the visible form of an invisible spirit, an outward manifestation of an inward power. But as we act, we not only express what is in us and help give shape to the world, we also receive what is outside us and we reshape our inner selves. When we act, the world acts back. The world acts back, and we in the world are co-created. Right action is a process of birthing that cannot be forced, but only followed. Okay, so that's the last one. She's amazing. This book is amazing. Opening the world as it is. I loved it. So, in closing, we'll leave a little time for conversation or thoughts, or what do you want to chew on? When we put it all together, it's clear eyes, full heart, this moment, meet it. That's sort of like our foundations of mindfulness, compassion, presence, and response. That's sort of like touching on some of the Taoist concepts of empty, loose, round, and soft, interconnected, always changing. This moment is not separate and it doesn't stay. And each moment, just as it is complete. So for me, this is the arc of Zen practice as it shows up in real time. Not separate from life, but expressed through it. Not something to get right, just something to return to. So maybe this week we can try to notice clear eyes, what is actually happening? Full hearts, where is the compassion flowing? This moment, can I recognize the completeness of this even as it changes? And meet it, what is my appropriate response right here? So thank you. This one is called Opening to the World as It Is, Poems of Experience by Margaret Wheatley, W-H-E-A-T-L-E-Y. Margaret J. Wheatley. Any thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah?
Of course.
Yes! Let's kick it off, Mark.
First of all, I really loved, you really made me go deep on this. I really appreciate this talk this morning. I think we can all think that this is, this flows from clear eyes all the way to action, that it's a straight line. I know you know it's not.
Yeah.
I'm getting to a point here. I'm going to invoke Dogen for a second. I think you talked about Uji, being time.
Mm-hmm.
And Dogen says, and you said, this moment is already gone. Mm. And Dogen says, in this moment, we are in the past and we are also in the future.
Right.
And I think when we have clear eyes, we unconsciously are bringing up the past and anticipating the future so that we move with a deep heart into what the right response should be and then the action. It's not just what we think is happening in this moment.
Right.
This is the beauty of being time. Being time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I love
So
it.
I bow to Dogen and I thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you.
when you kept saying Margaret Wheatley, I'm like, the Margaret Wheatley? The Margaret Wheatley? So I'm sorry, but I just had to look it up.
No,
And
thank you. I should have gave an introduction.
No, it's okay. It's Margaret Wheatley, the one who wrote so beautifully about systems thinking.
Yeah, right.
And she has a few books that are just marvelous.
Right,
And I
for
had
sure.
no idea that she had a book of poems. Maybe she's got more.
Oh, yeah.
And it just makes perfect sense because she's talking about systems in the most beautiful, positive way that they operate, and that everything's connected.
And yeah, and in this, her experience in them or with them, or yeah. Thank you for looking it up. Yeah. Yes, sir, in the front row.
Yeah, I really appreciated the action versus reaction. I think as I was just kind of reflecting on that, I think I'm extremely reactive to circumstances, and I don't really notice what my guiding action is. I'm so busy kind of responding to what someone else said or did, and it kind of just makes me wonder, well, what is this space that I can move into? And so I really appreciated that insight. So,
Oh, thank you.
thank you.
I know we have situations in our life. These are really good for pressure situations, right? Like the world comes fast at us sometimes, and how do you hold your ground?
Thank you, Junmei. What I love is how you personalized your Zen practice. So rather than following a particular structure or the words, you made it your own, and it works
Yeah.
for you,
Right.
and it works for others. And I feel like we always get that encouragement to really make it our own, to really find the ways, the words, the experiences, the ways in which we show up that feel genuine, that feel authentic to who we are.
Yeah.
So thank you. I love the, clear eyes, full heart. I love that whole model. I feel like it really speaks very deeply to your personalizing your practice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it up. I wanted to say, too, thank you so much. That was lovely. And for me, it just reminded me that, I don't have to call my practice anything. But I'm also not going to, I can listen to you and I could say, wow, that seems pretty easy. Just, but it goes back to the title of your talk. If I don't practice, I can't find myself there.
Right.
It's not going to just show up in the moment. It's cultivating my ability, that compassion that you talked about is so important, the compassion and wisdom together. And
Right.
so it's like, if that's how I want to be in the world, and I want to respond, and I want to receive people and experiences that way, I need to sit, I need to practice, I need to be in my own self in every moment. So it was just lovely. It was attainable to me.
Yeah. Right.
Hearing you talk about it.
And that's what I mean, to speak to what you're both saying, you and Miyogetsu. It's like finding something that works for me. It's like stepping out of the complexity that we tend to do as humans, and there is a real relief in that simplicity. It sounds simple, and it is. It should be.
Okay, like Dogen said, mountains and waters, and particles and waves. Totally.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you.
Anybody online? Robin.
Kelly, I really loved everything that you talked about, and I too loved that you gave examples from your own world and the complex and challenging world of teaching. So that was really great. And I'm just awed by Margaret Wheatley. She worked in corporate world with very complex organizations. And so knowing that about her makes her poetry even more amazing, I think. Thank you for reading that today.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for listening and sharing. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Kelly.
Sure.
I just wanted to say it was nice to see. I thought I got a little glimpse of seeing the teacher side of you with some of the little expressions that you had. You know, we're so used to seeing
Read a book, yeah, let me read you, yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice to get that different perspective.
Thank you. We're all multifaceted. Last call. Anyone else? Oh. Okay. Oh.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Junmei. Lovely talk. The magician who misleads us. I love that. You know, we've got nobody who interferes with anything but ourselves.
Yeah.
And, we don't even know what's happening most of the time.
Right.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll thank Junmei again for a beautiful talk. And please, if you're able, come join us for kinship upstairs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, everybody online. We'll hopefully see you soon.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Dinah, Sarah, Mark. Hi, Rob. Thank you.